then the topic of today will be robbing the poor for private jets. So that's what we are going to be working on today. Robbing the poor for private jets. Robbing the poor for private jets. But the series is Matthew Ashimolovo and the God of Mammon. Robbing the poor for private jets. But before I go into the topic of today, let me tell you what I'm doing and why I'm doing it and why I'm not going to stop and why I've got to continue and finish what I am doing right now. So let me share with you this quotation here. If you are neutral, this is from Desmond Tutu, right? Most of you know who Desmond Tutu is. Desmond Tutu is the anti-apartheid archbishop in Pretoria, in South Africa. So if you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. So anybody who is neutral in situations of injustice, and let me tell you what is happening with the Nigerian NGOs and their members and Nigerian citizens, that is a situation of injustice. You want to know why I am as mad and resolute as I am? You want to know why I'm as determined as I am? You want to know why I am uncompromising as I am? You want to know why I am as affrontal and challenging and confrontational as I am? Well, it is because of this truth. I understand better than what people are trying to make me to be. People want me to be like them. They say, oh, change your method. Don't be so confrontational. Don't challenge our elders. Don't be so controversial. Don't be so aggressive. Well, you know what? I know more. I know better. And the things that I know will not permit me to do otherwise. The truth that I understand, the truth that I know will not permit me not to do things the best way I know they should be done. So, if you are neutral, and I'm talking to all of you that are listening to me today as well, and I want to challenge you to go ahead and share these messages. Please go ahead and share. If you have not yet shared right now, go ahead and share. Go and look for your share button. Press the share button. Share, share, share. Because if anybody, you or anyone else, if anybody is neutral in situations of injustice, and believe me, what is happening in Nigerian churches now, that is a situation of injustice. So how can pastors, GOs, be collecting money from the poor, from their members, while they are already rich? Even the Bible condemns that. They are living large, building schools that people cannot go to, and you people are thinking that that is all right, and you people are thinking that we should keep quiet. You are telling me that I should take it easy, I should change my method. Well, let me tell you the truth. If you are neutral, even not just being on their side, but unfortunately today in our country and in Nigeria and Africa in general, a lot of Christians, so-called Christians, we have been so brainwashed, we have been so hypnotized that we don't even, not only don't fight against these things, we are not even, we have become so docile that we are now even supporting our oppressors. The same people that are oppressing us, the same people that are doing evil to us, the same people that are damaging our land, our country, our economy, our children, our spouses, our whole country, we are now on their side. And now most people are fighting me. How can you believe it? They are fighting me that is coming to set them free. I am coming to open their eyes. They are siding with their oppressors. It's just like in the days of slavery that some people come to liberate the slaves, and the slaves are fighting their liberators and siding with their oppressors because they have been brainwashed. They don't know better. They have been taught that their oppressors are their benefactors. This is exactly what the bishops and the GOs of today are doing. So people are telling me, we don't like your method. Look, if you know what the situation you are in, if you know what hole you are in, these bishops have put you in, if you only realize how much evil they are doing to you, if you only were to know how much damage they have done to you, to your senses, to who you are, to your personality, you will know that I'm still very, very nice. I'm still very soft. I'm still very kind to them, the way I'm talking right now. These people are disasters. These people are armed robbers. They are worse than armed robbers. These people are fraudsters, most of them. And this, especially these big GOs, they are robbing you. They are killing you, killing your future, killing the future of your children, and depriving you of your salvation, as a matter of fact. So if you know that these people are doing things that are evil, and you are saying you are neutral, and in the worst situation, you are not only not neutral, but you are even on their side. You are on the side of the oppressor. Then you have chosen the side of the oppressor. But some people are not just neutral, but you are outrightly on the side of the oppressor. The oppressor that are destroying you and your future. And now you are the ones now fighting me. Even the oppressors know that they are doing evil, so they are quiet. But you that are slaves to them, you that we are trying to set free, are the ones fighting the people who are trying to set you free. Let me go show you another statement that I wrote here. One person on the side of truth is in the majority. So you know what? It is hopeless for anybody to hope that Pastor Sunday is going to stop this campaign. It is hopeless for anybody to think that if G.O. Adeboye will speak, then I will change my mind. Or if anybody will speak, I will change my mind. That if all the pastors write open letters and they are criticizing me, I will change my mind. I will not, just for you to know. And if they announce that, no, don't ever listen to him, oh, we will kill you, we will do sham against you, we will not listen to you, we will spread bad news about you, we will spoil your name, it is immaterial to me. I am still going to continue what I'm going to do. You know why? Because one person on the side of truth is in the majority. One man with God on his side is in the majority, though he be alone, for God alone is above all populations. God alone, only God is above all populations of the world. So a man, me, Sunday Adelaja, with God on his side, I am in the majority. Though I be alone, for God alone is above all populations. So one person on the side of truth is in the majority. And I want to challenge you, everybody that's watching me today. I want you to decide, whose side are you going to be in? Are you going to be on the side of the oppressor, or you are going to be on the side of truth? And I want to challenge you to listen to what I'm saying. Before you criticize me, I always tell people, if you have not listened to 200 of my messages, you don't even know where I'm coming from. You will not understand me. And if you don't understand what I'm saying or where I'm coming from, then it will be too hasty of you to begin to judge me. But when you listen, when you understand what I'm saying, I will challenge you to join this move of, changing the face of Africa and changing Christianity in Africa. Let's see another thing I wrote here. Don't be afraid to stand up for the truth, even if that means you will be standing alone. The reason I'm saying this is because I just don't want to be doing it. I want to raise up a whole army of people who will be like me, who will exalt the truth above all men, who will exalt the truth above all religious practices, and who will stand for the truth even if they will stand alone. For our country to move forward, and this is not just regarding Nigeria and Africa, but this is regarding any country, we must arrive at a junction where we will all agree that the general good of our people must be protected before the individual welfare. What our people are living for right now is what we call individual welfare. Right now, we are all struggling in Europe, in America, so we are trying to just make our own individual success, just to be successful by ourselves. Individual success, you will see that it doesn't satisfy for long. Individual success will not help you if your whole people are suffering in deprivation, are suffering in slavery and in bondage. So until we begin to care for the well-being of the general population, we will lose our individual welfare sooner or later. So if we will not care about the well-being of our nation, of the general people, of the poor, of the deprived, of the orphans, of the widows, as a whole, our individual security that we have worked for all our lives will soon be violated and abused by the disadvantaged majority. Because one day, this disadvantaged majority will arise and they will begin to fight for their rights. They will begin to kill us. They will begin to kidnap us. And that's exactly what is happening in Nigeria right now. Most of our fathers and parents, they were only concerned about their individual security and individual welfare. But now they cannot live in Nigeria. Now their children cannot live in Nigeria. Everybody has to be running everywhere and striving for their own survival. Why? Because the country has become dangerous. The disadvantage of yesterday that our parents neglected, they are now the ones making life tough for us. They are now the ones kidnapping us. They are now the ones wanting to kill us. They are now the ones robbing us. They are now the ones we are running away from. So that is why individual well-being and individual security will never be the right way to live. Live for the well-being of all men. That's why I said, don't be afraid to stand alone and to stand for the truth, even if that means you are standing alone. For our country to move forward, we must arrive at a junction where we will all agree that the general good of all people, for all people, must be protected. Don't wait for politicians. Let us, as the light of the world, come and bring that light. Let us, as the salt of the earth, come and bring that salt before the individual welfare. Let us put the good and the well-being of the populace above and before our own welfare. If we put our own welfare and well-being ahead of the popular welfare of the people, then what will happen is that we will not care about the welfare of the nation as a whole, and our individual security and welfare will soon be violated and abused by the disadvantaged majority. If you don't want to ever go back to Nigeria again, if you don't believe that Nigeria will ever live as a nation, then maybe you don't need to change your individual well-being focus. But if you still want your children to go back, and if you want yourself to go back, you want to go back yourself to that country, then we have to begin to take care of the less privileged of that society. Until we begin to take responsibility for the poorest of the poor, for the disadvantaged in the land, they will not allow us to live. And if you don't want, just one thing you can do just to forget about Africa, and you forever be a foreigner in a foreign land, and your country will never be fixed. Let all of us begin to take responsibility to fight for the oppressed, to fight for the disadvantaged people, and they are all going to church. And the people who are supposed to be defending them are the pastors. The people who are supposed to be watching after them and protecting them are these GOs. And they are the ones who are oppressing them the most. The oppression from the GOs is more than the oppression from the government. It's more than the oppression from the politicians. Because the GOs are taking the very last money, the very last penny that they have. Telling them that they must pay tithe and offering, put some seed and things. But in the Old Testament, even the poor were not allowed to pay tithe. They were not taking anything from them. But today, our Jews have been so callous and they have been so selfish that they will even tell the very poorest to go and borrow or to go and bring their last. If they don't have anything, they should go and sell their car, their fridge, their television, anything they have, just for the so-called seed offering or whatever they call it, or all kind of oppression and oppressive method that are reigning in our continent today. And you want me to keep quiet, and you are keeping quiet? You remember what I started with? If any one of us are neutral in situations of injustice, we have chosen the side of the oppressor. And we didn't just choose the side of the oppressor, we ourselves have become the oppressor. But what will God do in our place? What will God do in your place? See what God will do in your place and what God will do in my place. Isaiah 43:13. The Lord shall go forth like a mighty man. He shall stir up his zeal like a man of war. He shall cry out, yes, shout aloud. He shall prevail against his enemies. You see, whenever God sees that injustice is taking place or prevailing in any society, see how God reacts. And we all must react like God. So if God shall go forth like a mighty man, I will rather act like God. I will rather be like him. I will rather stand and go forth like that mighty man. Oh, I will rather act like my Father. That is who I want to be. That is where I want to be. I want to arise like God arises against all injustices, either it is in the church or it is in politics or it is in the society. I must arise and go forth against all these injustices like a mighty man. And he, God, what will he do if you are in my place? He shall stir up his zeal And I'm calling upon every one of you to stir up your zeal. Wake up your zeal. Wake up you from your slumber. Wake up your zeal. Wake up your enthusiasm. Wake up your passion. Stir your passion up. Awaken your passion and awaken your zeal like a man of war. And let us go for war. War for truth. War for righteousness, war for justice, war for our people, war for the orphans, war for the poor, war for the oppressed, war for the underprivileged. We have to arise and wake and stir up our zeal and behave like God will behave and cry out like God will cry out. Yes, shout aloud like God will shout aloud until we prevail against the enemies of God that are in the very church that is supposed to be the pillar and foundation of the truth. The very church that is supposed to be taking care of these people is the very place where these oppressors have made their stronghold. And we must liberate these people that have been deceived, that are thinking that these are their protectors, but really they are their oppressors. So that's why I'm continuing my series today on Matthew, Ashimolovo, and the God of Mammon. And the topic of today is robbing the poor for private jets. Robbing the poor for private jets. So in this video that I'm going to show today, Pastor Matthew is defending the pastors. I mean, can you imagine that unbelievers, journalists, they came up to Pastor Matthew, invited him to the studio, and unbelievers, they had enough conscience in them. Maybe they were unbelievers, but they were just like journalists, secular people. They were not pastors or ministers or something. These are just secular journalists. They had enough conscience. Even Muslims and unbelievers, even atheists in Nigeria, they know what is wrong. And they are saying, these pastors, you have millions of people in your churches, and these millions of people in your churches cannot even feed themselves, cannot even have $1 or $2 a day to feed. They cannot even afford 3 square meals. And at that time, you are taking their money and using their money to buy private jet. It is not that you are buying private jet from your own money. It is not that you are buying private jet from your business money. It is from the offering and tithe that is coming from these same poor people cannot eat. So the journalists are now asking the question, throwing the question to Pastor Matthew, that, wait, you people are pastors. You are supposed to know better. You are supposed to be custodians of truth. You are supposed to be custodians of justice. You are supposed to defend the fatherless. You are supposed to be the one that will protect these fatherless people and watch over them and even care for them more than we could as journalists. Why is it that you are now taking their money and using it to live an exorbitant lifestyle and luxurious lifestyle, to be buying plane? And why they cannot eat? The people contributed the money. And you know what? This man, who is calling himself a pastor, had the guts to defend the buying of private jet. So he would rather choose to use the money to buy private jet than to feed the poor. That is the choice Nigerian pastors are making these days. That is the kind of pastors we have these days. They are not pastors, they are oppressors. And I'm going to show you in the word of God that anybody who behaves like that, if you have a choice to use money to either feed the poor, the orphans, and the widows, or to go and use it for private jet, and you are without blinking, you're saying, no, it is private jet. Because the person, the pastor, otherwise he will be wasting. He will be in the airport waiting for planes, and he will be having jet lag, and he will be, having delays. So the comfort of one man, yes, it is better to use, or the money that could feed 1 million people, 10 million people. So the discomfort and the hunger and the poverty of 10 million is worth sacrificing 1 million, 10 million people just for the well-being of one person. That is the kind of pastors that we are now having in Africa. And they don't see anything wrong in that. And you want to tell me that these people know God? No, they don't. No, they don't. I'm sorry. Let's have a look at the video, please.
Still talking.
You see?
People,
Stop.
we are.
You see, he's laughing. He's satisfied with himself. He's okay. He's laughing. Okay, let's hear him.
Religious people.
Yes.
They look up to pastors,
Yeah, sure.
imams, and right now people have concerns even with the pastors and,
Okay.
and the clerics.
Yes.
You hear the issue of private jets.
Yes.
People think the congregation is suffering
And the
the
person is
pastor
flying.
is flying everywhere,
Okay.
preaching to who?
Okay.
So what do you have to say concerning leadership even in the religious sector?
Well, unfortunately, there will not be enough time for me to clarify that issue, but I will try as much as possible. I think, at the end of the day, the context of Nigeria is one of the reasons why we react to these things, because of the mass need on ground. However, you will find that the people we're talking about, out of probably 20 million clergy, may not be more than 6. So I think, first of all, there is a blowing out of proportion by the media, because 6 people out of 20 million is not a large proportion. Then when you take those
Wait. Go back again. Go back. Now, this guy, wait. How can you just be lying in daylight, broad daylight like this? Play.
They are a religious people.
Yes.
They look up to pastors,
Yeah, sure.
imams, and right now people have concerns even with the pastors and,
Okay.
and the clerics.
Yes.
Yeah.
You hear the issue of private jets.
Yes.
People think the congregation is suffering
And the
the
person is
pastor
flying.
is flying everywhere,
Okay.
preaching to who?
Okay.
So what do you have to say concerning leadership even in the religious sector?
Well, unfortunately, there will not be enough time for me to clarify that issue, but I will try as much as possible. I think.
Stop. You mean there will not be enough time? You want to tell me there will be not enough time to clarify the jet issue? You want to tell me there will be no enough time to clarify the jet issue? Don't tell me those stories, guy. You might be telling journalists that one, but not me, huh? No enough time, okay? You want to just try to dodge and try to find a way of escape. Of course there is enough time. Tell the truth, that's all. It doesn't take much time.
Now, at the end of the day, the context of Nigeria is one of the reasons why we react to these things.
Stop.
Because of the
The context of Nigeria? So why you are based in London, you are telling me that? Why are you not doing that in London? The context of Nigeria. He is turning the table on Nigeria, whereas it is only in Nigeria you could behave like that. It is only in Nigeria the whole place could be poverty ridden like that. Everybody is poor, and you apply, and you are saying only in Nigeria that they are complaining. Even in Europe, where there is no poverty, people are complaining. And you cannot do that. But because they are coming from abroad, and they know most Nigerians have not been abroad, they can just come and tell them, mesmerize them and say, you are the one who are primitive. It is only Nigeria who can putting people down for nothing.
Need on ground. However, you will find that the people we're talking about.
He said because there is so much need on ground. And he's using that as the very excuse why you shouldn't complain. It is rather the very same reason why you should complain, why you shouldn't buy. If there is so much need on ground, for any logical person, you said you yourself, your own koro mouth, you are saying there is so much because of the need on ground. Is that not what we are saying? That the need on ground is so much. Let us solve the need first. And then you can be using people's money. It is not just because of the need on ground, but that need, in the midst of the need, you are still taking offering from people, taking tithe from people, telling them they will go to hell if they don't give it, and using fear and the fear of cost and death and poverty and everything to take their extract from them the last they have. Then you are taking it to you and buy jet. Most of these people have never seen jet before in their life. And you are telling me because they are poor, that's why they are complaining. But is it not their money? They have the right to say, what are you using our money for if we entrusted that money to your hand? Because you are not using the money from heaven. God doesn't bring money from heaven. It came from people. And these same people are the same ones who are hungry, who cannot eat. They are human beings. Is it human life we have to sustain, or airplane we have to sustain? $4 million US to sustain an airplane in a year. Just to maintain and sustain it in a year. That 4 million can send all 4 million children that are out of school, 10 million children that are out of school to school. And you are telling me it's just because they are poor, that's why they are complaining. But you took their money now. If they are too poor, they don't take their money. If there is so much need on ground, they don't take offering again in this church. Don't take their money, they will not complain. No. You want them to stop complaining, make you stop taking offering from them. Not be so.
Out of probably 20 million clergy, may not be more than 6. So I think
20 million clergy? Did I hear 20 million clergy? Huh? Did I hear 20? You might need to repeat that place for me. Did I hear 20 million clergy? No, Matthew, no. No, Matthew, no, Matthew. How many Christians do we have in the country? You mean all the 20 million, they are all clergy? All the 20 million are not even, all the 20, and we are talking of 20 million. You know, I don't understand. 20 million, maybe he made a mistake. I think it's a mistake. I think I just cool down. Maybe it's a slip of tongue. It should be a slip of tongue. How can you say 20 million clergy? Maybe he wanted to say 20 million Christians. Because the whole of the charismatic Pentecostal Christianity, we are not up to 20 million now. When we are saying we call the Christians in Nigeria, we are talking about Anglican, Methodist, Baptist, Catholic. Those are the ones, all of them, that make us 80 million. But the born again charismatic, we are made just about 20 million. So now say, did he say clergy?
Not just possible. I think, at the end of the day, the context of Nigeria is one of the reasons why we react to these things, because of the mass need on ground. However, you will find that the people we're talking about, out of probably 20 million clergy, may not be more than 6.
So, I think it's a clergy. I think it's a clergy. I think it is clergy, he said, though. No, I think he's making a mistake. And he said out of the 20 million, but I think that mistake might have been calculated. Because he's trying to make the point that he wants to make the point that the ratio is small. That we are so many pastors, 20 million, and the private jets are just 6. So, close your eyes. Just, at least not all of us are in private jet yet. International thief. Let's hear, Joe.
So I think, first of all, there is a blowing out of proportion by the media, because
Stop. You see, he's turning the table again. These people have become professional at lying. He's turning the table on the journalists. It is now the media that is to blame. I don't see how God will not punish these guys. It is now the media. Okay, let's go.
It's not a large proportion. Then when you take those 4 or 6 individuals, look at their itinerary and find out, is it even saving money for the organization to have it, or is it costing?
It's saving money for the organization. Will it not save more money for the organization if they will empower all the church members? Will it not save more money for the organization if they will use that money to feed the people so that people can go to work? Will it not save more money for the country as a whole if to send the children to school and give scholarship? We cannot find something more productive to spend that money on? And you are saying he's saving them more money to fly private jet than commercial. The commercial is just, about $1,000, $2,000 ticket. And the private, just for the parking alone, is $40,000 an hour or so. And you are saying it saves more money. This guy can mesmerize.
Organization. I'll just use one example, if you permit me. I'll say Pastor Adeboye. I was with them.
Now, people are using Pastor Adeboye as an example because he knows that in the Nigerian context, nobody would dare challenge Adeboye. Nobody would dare criticize Adeboye. But they didn't know that God has eaten one in behind the iron curtain for the past 30-something years that doesn't look at eyes and faces of people and is going to tell the truth the way it is and challenge Adeboye to the book. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. That Pastor Adeboye, the people who are making the church to stand, who are giving the offering, they are, who are working in the buses, who are going evangelism in the buses and in the bus stops, they are looking so emancipated. Look at the video of Adeboye's event now at the camp. Look at the video of the faces of people when they are showing them in the video. You will think that hunger strike, they are coming from Ethiopia or somewhere. Sorry for if you are Ethiopian here. It is hunger strike, that it is like hunger, everybody is on hunger. It is like, catastrophe has stricken them. All of them are looking tattered and dry, and you go and check it. Go to internet anytime and put Redeemed Christian Church and look at the people the way they are looking. They are looking so pitiful and pitiable. And the man is using the money that could have made them to be better off, that would have fed them, make them to feed and, look like a human being, not like ghost. And he's using it to fly something. So the comfort of one Adeboye is better than the hunger of the 1 million people that are contributing the money. The comfort of one man is better than the well-being of 1 or 2 million people.
And in Toronto, we had an all-night prayer meeting. The all-night finished 5 a.m. and he was to also speak to pastors by 10 a.m. in Washington or thereabouts, which is another 1.5 or 2 hours flight. He finished 5 a.m. Even in his 2 hours sleep, if the man is over 70, if he had gone to Toronto airport to wait, they could cancel the flight. He may get to where he's going. And when he finished the Washington meeting, he had another all-night. I was just with him 3 days ago, and it happens that it's like almost every week. People think it's only the one he holds on Lagos-Ibadan Express. That he just told me he finished in India, crossed over to Kenya the next day. And when he finished in Kenya, crossed over to, I think, Abuja or Lagos to hold another one. You can sit in some airports 16 hours. Just coming from Kenya to Lagos, a 3.5-hour flight once took me 16 hours. So I think it has been blown out of proportion.
Okay, good. Let me answer. Wait. Me idea. Number one, is it by force that Pastor Adeboye has to fly to Toronto and Kenya airport and all that? Is it not by force? Apostle Paul fly like that. Jesus flew to airport and Toronto. Even me, I'm not in Toronto right now. There are people right now in Canada, in Toronto, who are watching me right now from Toronto. I didn't hear. Not by force. You are telling these stories of, pity. So we should come and be pitying Adeboye that is flying private jet. Some individuals in his church, they are just even praying to just see that private jet, not be to fly itself. That thing you are saying stress, is not being him put on for himself. Is it not the one that put it? They force him to do it. Is it not the one that plans his own schedule? And if you think that he is flying everywhere like that and you want him to be convenient, buy plane for him. Don't use people's offering. Don't use people's offerings. Don't use the offering of the poor people. Don't use money from the poor people to do it. You get businessmen put together, let them buy something for him, or maybe that is what they did, but then who is maintaining it? Are they also maintaining it? Is it from the business? It's not compulsory now that he will fly like that. Why should he put a schedule for himself like that is so tight? That's number one. Number two, this whole tragedy that you are explaining to me that is so bad and so painful, he's not sleeping enough, he's flying in the airport, he's doing like that is so hard, he's doing all night, he's doing Holy Ghost. If that is the biggest horror story, if that is the most painful, the most horrible horror story, that warranties you to be buying jet of $50 million or $60 million, if that is the horror story that is making you to be so compassionate, why is that this your compassion doesn't go to the man and the woman on the street? Why is it that this your compassion is only going to the big man? Why is it that this your passion is not going to the one that is to the hundreds of millions, to the hundreds of thousands of people that are hungry in that same church? Why is it that this your compassion that you have is not affecting the ones that cannot send their children to school? This your compassion is not affecting those ones who cannot afford 3 square meal. This your compassion. Why is it just for one another? For you, of the people who could invite you and you invite them, the people who could bless you and you bless them, the people who you'll be able to gain something from. Is that the kind of giving that God said we should give? God said no, that if you invite people who can invite you, if you bless people who can bless you, you have gotten your reward already, because there is no reward for you in heaven. You should only invite and bless and give to people who cannot say thank you to you, who cannot give back to you, who cannot invite you back. That is the kind of Christianity that God wants us to practice. But if you are telling me the stories of woe that Pastor Adelaja is going through in the airport, come and let me call you 5 Nigerians that are even here in my city here, in my country here, Nigerians too. Let them come and be telling you their stories of woe. You will know that the story you are telling is a story of luxury, not stories of woe. Then when you go to Nigeria itself, just go into any street and call 5 or 10 or 100 or 1,000 Nigerians. Let them be telling you the stories of woes that they are going through every day. Then let's decide who better decides that money? Where should that money better go? Should that money now go to the stories of woe, of people who cannot eat on daily basis, of people who have lost their father and mother, of the people who are living in the same city with Boko Haram, have bombed their city, they have bombed their village, the whole village people died, all the men died, all kind of horror story. Can that money do better service and better justice to those people? And you are telling me that it is the biggest story, the horror story, that Adelaja, will not sleep for 2 days. That is the most biggest horror story that could happen. And that's what justifies $4 million of maintenance just to keep airplane in the airport. You see, we have lost our sense of justice, our sense of love, our sense of justice has been lost.
Saves them much more money. For him to do those kind of itinerary, he has to lease, he has to rent from somebody else's plane, and in the process, the organization will pay more. I think sometimes we look at the need in our nation and fail to realize that
He's just trivializing those needs in the nation as if they are not human beings. As if Jesus didn't die for those people who are in need in our nation. As if they are not human beings. As if they are not people. Why the need of one man supersedes the need of millions? As the same million that God died for the same way as he died for the Geo. We are thinking as if God himself is the one who died for Geo. But the ones on the earth, nobody died for them. They are just animals or chicken. That their needs don't count. That is the way this man is trivializing the needs of the ordinary people. The needs of our nation, that's why you are complaining. As if those things are not needs.
It is a necessity for certain people. We have not questioned people who yesterday just finished university and today own 2 jets. We've not asked where did they get it from? How did they get it?
No, but that is their money. I don't care where they get it from. If they are not pastors, they are not collecting offering. Let them get it from their businesses. Let them, get it from. Let them even go and do some. I don't know whatever they are doing. I don't know. Maybe they stole it. Maybe they got it. It is on their own conscience. At least they are not taking it from offering. What we are against is not that people are having private jet. What we're against is that churches' money that is meant for these same people that are contributing, they are not being used for them. They are being used to buy luxurious things like private jet. See the way he's turning the thing over to, and these journalists, I just look at them. Look at the way they are looking. Sitting down as if they have removed their brain from them. They cannot challenge the guy because they have too much respect. They are worshiping people in Nigeria. They are worshiping pastors. They have too much respect for them. Maybe it's even their pastor self. So they are, behaving themselves. Instead of them to just empty him there so that he will go and sell his plane immediately he leaves there. Or go and beg his colleagues to sell the plane after they finish. So that he will never go to television again and give interview. And they are just looking and agreeing with what he's saying. Tragedy. Our tragedy, the tragedy of our nation is he has just beaten them down. Yes, he has just beaten all these journalists down, and they are looking as if, and they will be saying they are respecting man of God, even though they might be thinking the right thing in their mind, but they will keep quiet because they are respecting man of God. See the kind of thing we are fighting against.
Because Lagos International Airport is littered with private jets. When you land, they're up to 40, and you just
Why
wonder
are you
when did they
wait? We are not talking about other people now. Now you will talk about. If we are talking about pastors now, we are not talking about businessmen or other people who have their planning plan. So we should be going to run after them. But we didn't contribute towards their own jet now. It is it is your own jet people contributed towards. That's what we're talking about.
only reach a place where people have all this, and we're having billionaires who are under 45 and who only left university 18 years ago.
Wait, you see when this guy is telling the topic of who is talking about those ones? We have not let government deal with those ones, but we are talking about you pastors who are supposed to be custodians of goodness, weightier matters, righteousness, holiness, kindness, loving kindness, love. You are the one we are talking about, pastors.
How did it happen? I think it's been blown out of proportion. Certainly, there are issues within the religious bodies.
Are there no issues that
There are several issues, and I think this
I will not have time to talk.
to do with
I trust you.
Statement will be this. It is very difficult for a nation to not.
He doesn't have time to talk about that. I don't have time. It is on every program will not be enough. So it's a pity that the so-called pastors and even the people cannot challenge them. We are worshiping these pastors. We are teaching them and we are treating them as if they are deity, as if they cannot be challenged. That is our problem. We have closed our eyes. So let's see my own logic here. When the world, the unbelievers, and the journalists know what is right and wrong better than the pastors, then this is a tragedy. Our tragedy, though, our country has reached the bottom of tragedy. Because if pastors who are supposed to be custodians of morals and values are now being corrected by journalists, the world is now the light. The world now has more light than the church. The world is now more salt than the church. Then we are really in trouble. Now, we are supposed to be the light of the world. But now, it is the world that is becoming the light for the church. Can you believe it? It is now the world that is becoming the light for the church. The journalists are now the one correcting us, telling us what is wrong. And we ourselves don't even know what is wrong again as pastors. Then we are not, those people that are not needed. They are not pastors. They are not men of God. Because if they had been men of God, they would know what journalists know. That what is evil, what is good, what is bad. The pastors are supposed to know where the heart of God is. That the heart of God, read any space in the Bible, the heart of God is always with the poor. The heart of God is always with the needy, with the desperate. The heart of God is not in luxury. But today, our people are now saying the heart of God is luxury, but not in the poor and the needy people. But read through the Bible, you will see that God cares for the poor. Matthew 5:13-16 says, "You are the salt of the earth. If the salt loses its flavor," which is what is happening right now in Nigeria, this church has lost its flavor. "How shall it be seasoned? It is then good for nothing." That is what the church has gotten to now. The church in Nigeria has gotten to this particular place where it is no more good for nothing, but to be thrown out and trampled underfoot by men. Not be me saying, it is Jesus saying this. You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden. Well, we are not lighting anything. It is now the world that is lighting us. Nor do they light a lamp and put it under a basket. We don't even have any light to put under any basket. But on a lampstand, and it gives light to all those who are in the house. But we are not even giving light to the house anymore. It is now the people coming from outside who are giving us light. He said, let your light so shine before men. That is what church is supposed to be. We are supposed to be doing so well, to be shining so much before men, that they, the unbelievers, they will be praising us. The unbelievers may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. They are supposed to be glorifying our Father who is in heaven. They are supposed to be rejoicing, dancing, praising God just because of us and our example. But right now, they are all cursing God. They are all, disappointed. They are the ones, people are becoming atheists now just because we are no more light. And that is the tragedy of the church in Nigeria right now. The church loses relevance when we refuse to be the salt and the light. I know that journalists could be critical sometimes, in some cases, but in this particular case, it is obvious that we are the ones who are wrong. The church is the one who is in the wrong, not the church, not the journalists. Isaiah 42:19 says, who is blind but my servant, or deaf as my messenger, whom I sent? The pastors and the ministers and the people of God who are supposed to be leading the way have become blind. They have become deaf. Who is blind as he who is supposed to be perfect, or who is perfect? We claim to be perfect, but we are blind. I'm blind as the Lord's servant. We say we are Lord's servant, but we are the ones who are blind. The church now, the world, the unbelievers are now correcting us and telling us and trying to prick our conscience that, we shouldn't be buying jet. You should be taking care of your members. But we are so deaf and dumb that we don't even hear. We are still defending indefendable. The logic is very clear. On the one hand, we have the poor congregation. On the other hand, we have the private jets. So where should the money go to? To the poor congregants, because they are the ones who collected the money, like in the Acts of the Apostles. You remember in the Acts of the Apostles, when they collected the money was distributed to meet the needs of the people, so much that there was none of them that was in need. But we are no more practicing that anymore. We use it for private jets. So you mean the apostles in the Acts of the Apostles, couldn't you have used the money also for a donkey, to buy a donkey, the latest donkey after the death of Jesus? But they didn't use it to buy donkey. They didn't use it to buy any horse. They went and used it and distributed it among church members. So if it is something that is brought to the church, it must be distributed to meet the needs of the church members and to also meet the need of the city. That is what offering in church is meant for. The logic is very clear. On the one hand, we have the poor congregation, and on the other hand, we have private jet. So which one will we choose? The journalists are saying, take care of your congregation. And the pastors are saying, no, it's private jet. That's more important because we have the AGO that is feeling inconvenient and is old. So he cannot retire. He cannot get a younger one. And we would rather deprive the congregation of the money and use it to buy private jet that will be maintaining a loan for $4,000 a year. Do we feed the poor, or they continue to die in hunger while we buy private jets? Well, our choice, Nigeria, the choice is clear. Will the Nigerian Christians buy private jets and let the poor begin to continue to die? Let the poor continue to die. Let the people from the internally displaced people continue to die. Let the Boko Haram people continue to devastate the people, but we will be flying private jet. We don't have conscience again. We have lost it, guys. Pastor Matthew's choice is let the poor die of hunger while he buys private jet. He's still dreaming of his own private jet. That's why he's defending private jet owners. Is it because of the context of Nigeria? Is it only in Nigeria that is that bad? Because that's what he's saying. He said it's just Nigeria problem. You are complaining because it's the Nigerian problem. Is that because it's Nigeria? No. It's anywhere where they have conscience. And in Europe, they don't go to church, but they have more conscience than people in Nigeria who go to church. No. Even in England or any country in Europe, you cannot do that. You've got to put, the priority of the people, the welfare of people ahead of everything else. It is the opposite. It is only in Nigeria this is possible. When the people are poor and pastors fly private jet. I mean, even here in Ukraine, pastors and unbelievers, they are doing television programs just to mock Nigeria. There are television programs here in this country where even unbelievers are doing television. Do you know where the richest pastors are living? They are living in a country called Nigeria. That is a country with the economy like this. The poor people are the poorest, and the people are pastors are flying private jets. They were laughing. It's a comedy, and Nigerians are claiming that it is okay. In America, they are laughing. They have television programs where people are laughing. What kind of country is that? And that is what Nigerian pastors like Adeboye, Matthew Ashimolovo is coming to defend. That is okay. That only in Nigeria they complain. It's rather only in Nigeria they are not complaining because they are worshiping you pastors. That's why they are not complaining. Proverbs 28:27 says, "He who gives to the poor will not lack, but he who hides his eyes will have many curses." You see why Nigeria is full of curses? Why Nigeria is full of curses? Because our Christians have been taught to hide their eyes from the poor and take the money rather to church. If Nigerian Christians have money in their pocket, they will rather pass by the poor. They will rather hide their face from the poor and take that money to the church. That's why curses. There are so many curses in Nigeria. So many curses in Nigeria because our Christians and our believers, we hide our eyes from the poor and we inherit curses. Because our pastors have told us that curses only come if you don't give tithe and offering. But rather, it is the opposite. Curses come when you don't give to the poor. It is by hiding your eyes from the poor that you get curses. And that is why our country is full of curses today. I do not think we have 20 million pastors like in Nigeria, as Pastor Adeboye claims, Pastor Matthew claims. And pastors' private jets are more than 6. He said they are only 6. I'm sure they are more than 6. That is too much. Matufiyu. I think that's the way they call it in Yoruba. That's too much. We don't have 20 million pastors. That's a lie, Matthew. And then 6 jets. No, Matthew. Not you. You just, even if you want to tell lies that people cannot find out easily. Why are you doing lie that everybody can find? Pastor Matthew is trying to shift the focus. That is why he's trying to say, oh, it is not really as bad. You know, we are too many pastors. We are 20 million pastors in the country. And only 6 yet. So the ratio is this small. It's a lie. This is unjustifiable. You cannot justify what is not justifiable. Proverbs 22:16 says, "He who oppresses the poor to increase his riches," and that's what our pastors are doing. They are oppressing the poor to increase their campuses or their Kelan land, or what they call those things, or camps. They call them camps. They are oppressing the poor to increase their campuses or their camps or their universities or their jets. That is oppressing the poor. Now, people will say oppressing, it's not by force now. No, they are actually oppressing, and they are doing it by force because they are using words to brainwash people. They are raping people with their sweet words. They are oppressing the poor. And anybody that is taking from the poor and giving to make himself richer, that is oppressing the poor. So they are oppressing the poor to increase their riches. He who oppresses the poor to increase his riches, and he who gives to the rich. Even if you say they are not oppressing the poor, but they do this. All Christians in Nigeria, they give to the rich pastors. They are bypassing the poor and giving to the rich pastor. That way, they are oppressing the poor, because what is meant for the poor, they are bypassing them and taking it to the rich. The Bible says anyone who does that, who gives to the rich, will surely come to poverty. That's why our whole country, Nigeria, is full of poverty. We are in poverty, and poverty will be hard to get rid of until we stop giving to the rich and until we stop oppressing the poor to increase our riches. These two things are reasons for poverty. And Nigeria will perpetually be in poverty as long as they are teaching us that don't give to the poor, because if you give to the poor, you will be poor. But they would say, give to the rich if you want to be rich. So everybody is rushing to give to the rich pastors. Whereby God is saying the opposite. Don't give to the rich, give only to the poor. If you give to the rich, you are an oppressor. Let's continue. There is no way maintaining a jet is cheaper for any organization, because that's what he said. He said that it is cheaper to maintain a jet than to fly commercial. So if it is cheaper, then all of us should be having their own private jets now. Everybody should be having private jets. This is cheaper. Why fly commercial? It's cheaper now, so give the private jet. Look at the logic of this man. How can you say it's cheaper? Pastor Matthew is making an emotional case instead of a righteous case when he says, oh, the man is tired, he's 70 years old, he's telling all the stories of war of Adeboye, but in the real sense, it's not a righteous case, because the righteous case, Bible says that real religion, real Christianity is to take care of the poor, the widows, the orphans. That is the righteous case. Yeah, he said, I was naked, I was poor, I was naked, I was hungry, I was in prison, I was in jail, I was in hospital. That is the righteous case. God is always on the side of the poor. Proverbs 21:13 says, whoever shuts his ears to the cry of the poor will also cry himself and not be heard. That is what's happening in Nigeria. What Pastor Matthew is saying is in regards to business corporations. That, okay, it might be better for the organization, but that is business. But in this case, churches don't churches don't run business. I think they don't run it officially. If they run it behind the scene, we don't know. But what they are doing is that they are collecting money and offering from people. That's what they are doing. Churches then should stop. If they are running business, if they are business centers, then let them stop collecting offering from people. Let them stop collecting offering. It is not bad for a pastor to fly a private jet if he buys it with his own money. But if he's not buying it with his own money, then you don't let him use public money for private jets. Matthew 19:21 says, Jesus said to him, that is to the rich man, if you want to be perfect, and Nigerian pastors and members are always claiming that they are perfect. Everybody wants to be holy. Everybody is saying they are holy. And Bible is saying the only way to be perfect in this kingdom, look at it. If you want to be perfect, it is not by saying you don't smoke, you don't drink. If you want to be perfect, only one way. And what is that? Go sell what you have and give to the poor. That's the way to be perfect. How many pastors have done perfect in Nigeria? By this definition, how many of them are perfect? How many have sold their private jet to give to the poor? They will say, no, this is in the time of Jesus. It doesn't apply to them again. But the Bible is saying it now. If you want to be perfect, go and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. So they don't want to have treasure in heaven. Eh? If they want to have treasure in heaven, let them go and do what Jesus said now. But don't, you see, he's telling this man, go and sell everything you have, give to the poor. He didn't say give tithe to the church or give 10% to the church, everything to the poor. That tells you where God's priority is. Jesus' priority, God's priority is with the poor. He said, if you want to be perfect, go and sell what you have and give, not to the church, not to the pastor, not to the GO, give to the poor. How many Christians do that in Nigeria today? How many people preach this in Nigeria today? And you will have treasure in heaven. But everybody in Nigeria today want to have treasure with the pastors. They want to have treasure in church. They want to have recognition. They want to be respected in the church. They don't care for the treasure in heaven. So that's what is happening today. But if he buys a jet from the offering and tithe, then it is oppression. So they are oppressing the poor by using the money of the poor to buy their own empire, to build jets, to buy jets, to build houses, to build churches. That is what oppression is. Proverbs 22:16 says, he who oppresses the poor to increase his riches. And that's what they are doing. If they are buying, if they are living ostentatiously, if they are living luxuriously at the expense of the people or from the offering and tithe of the people, it means they are oppressing the poor. And the Bible says anybody who oppresses the poor like that to increase his riches or his empire will come to poverty. So also anybody who gives to the rich. And what they are telling people in church is to sow to the good ground. They call it good ground. So sow in the good ground. And good ground is always them. Always them. So that is given to the rich, which leads to poverty. That's why our country is still poor. The justification of Pastor Matthew telling the story of how it is difficult for Pastor Adeboye in the airport, is nothing compared to the sufferings of the poor Nigerians. If they will begin to tell the stories of their suffering, it will be worse than the suffering of Pastor Adelaja in the airport. Does it save more money to buy jet? That's what Pastor Matthew is trying to tell us, that save, if they buy jet, it saves more money. Now lie. Let's see if it is true or not. Cost of flying one private jet, Gulfstream, that Pastor Adelaja has, and that Pastor Oyedepo also has, per year is $12 million, over $4 billion, just to fly that thing. Total cost of maintenance per year, only maintenance, is $4 million. Total cost of crew salary, benefits, maintenance per year, $878,000, almost $1 million. Variable cost, fuel, parking, etc. It per hour is $3,000, or almost $4,000 per hour. And you are saying that is cheaper to maintain? Pastor Matthew, shine your eyes. Proverbs 29:7 says, the righteous considers the cause of the poor, but our people don't consider the cause of the poor. And that is a proof to me that we don't have righteous leaders. We don't have righteous leaders. We don't have righteous members, because they don't consider the cause of the poor. But the wicked does not understand such knowledge. You see, anybody that doesn't consider the plight of the poor, they are wicked. That's not me who wrote it. They don't consider the poor, it means they are wicked. And that is what we have in Nigeria now. We have wicked pastors, wicked Jews, wicked bishops, but not righteous leaders. So, that's my submission today. That's my submission today. And I would like to let everybody know that what am I doing about it? I'm doing a lot about it. But first of all, those of you who are watching me, I want to challenge you and invite you that thank God, begin to rejoice, begin to thank God, because right now you can go and join the mentorship class. Mentorship program is where you'll be able to learn to know God for yourself and how to walk with God for yourself, have personal relationship with God, where you will not be deceived, you will not be messed up by anybody. Go and maintain your own personal relationship with God. And the way to do it is to go to sundayadelajablog.com/mentorship. Go to www.sundayadelajablog.com/mentorship. If you have done that and you didn't receive any reply, then you write to mentorship@godembassy.org.